how many times y'all, like, you get on an airplane and everybody always wants to get that extra leg room. They like that exit row leg room, right? And you're always asked when you sit in the exit row, like, how do they say it? Are you able and willing to assist other passengers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? I have never, in all of my years of flying, I've never met anyone who's like, no, I'm only going to do me, right? Even if you don't mean it, you say it. I'm not saying that anybody, but you know what I mean? Like, you say it. You're like, yeah, whatever. So that is apparently not what happened in North Carolina at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. So this was a Frontier Airlines, and there was a passenger that was in the exit row, right? And they ask you, are you ready and willing to comply with exit row instructions, blah, 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 blah. So she gets on the seat. And by the way, can I just point out that when you get on a plane, you know how like when you get on a plane and you haven't even made it to the jet bridge yet. You go into where they're checking your ticket and they scan your pass or your phone or whatever. And they're like, you're sitting in the exit row. Are you willing and able? You have to say yes then before you get on the plane. So they ask you at two different points if you're ready and willing and able to comply. I've never not had that happen. And I've flown multiple airlines. So this lady gets on the plane and she gets into the exit row. And then, of course, you have the flight attendant that asks the same question that you're always asked. Are you ready and willing, etc.? This woman did not answer the way that everyone else did, and it resulted in the entire plane having to be deboarded while she was arrested. Watch if you're watching the simulcast and or listen if you're streaming the radio program to this.
My grandson said, "You should have been the blind. The rules. We Everybody, can I disagree to her? Everybody heard me. We all agree. But I mean, I got a grandson that's been out of school.
She's upset.
But my grandson.
She didn't want to comply.
Regardless, and neither are we if you don't get off. So
this other lady was begging her to go.
I am not.
The whole plane is saying, please get off. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She chose violence today. And then the police come. Oh my gosh. The whole plane is begging her. Please, woman, please get off the plane. They're begging her. She ain't having it. And they all have to deplane. They all have to get off that flight. They all have to get off that flight because she's getting arrested. Now, what led up to this? You might be wondering. This is what led up to it. They said that she immediately got on the plane. Because again, remember, when you go through the ticketing part, when you're getting on the plane, they're like, hey, are you ready and willing? Blah, blah, blah. You say yes. Then you're allowed to get on the jet bridge and you go get on the plane. Apparently, right when the attendant came up to her, when they do that last check, and they're saying, are you ready and willing? She said, according to all of the people all around her on the plane, oh, I'm not going to save anybody. If something happens, I'm going to save myself. One of the other ladies on the plane said this was her attitude through the whole process, and I knew something was going to pop off. That's what one of the other women sitting next to her was saying this. And so she said that the flight attendant asked her again because she was apparently shocked. Like, ma'am, are you going to... And the woman said, quote, get out of my damn face, and then proceeded to open up her snack. Oh my gosh. And then she just wouldn't stop. She said, you better get out of my face is what you need to do, Betty. Oh boy. So it turned into a whole thing. I mean, she said she was flying to take care of her grandson while her mother was on vacation. She goes, my grandson's getting out of school and his mama took a flight to Mexico and I'm not getting off this plane. Well, you are, because you decided to have a fit on the flight. So all of this had to do, and the numerous reporting on this, all of this had to do with a woman who she wanted to sit in the exit row, but she did not want to do what the exit row required. And she could have switched seats, she could have done, and instead she ended up getting arrested because she got belligerent and got into verbal altercations with various flight crew members as well as other passengers. The entirety of the plane was begging her to get off the flight. People were even trying to get her to switch seats, and she wasn't having it. She was there just to raise hell. What do you do with those people? They are not there to solve a problem. They are there to be a problem. They are there to ruin your day. And they had to deplane, they had to get everybody off the plane. There are people who are missing their connections. You are asked before you get on the plane, and then you are asked before takeoff. And someone said, well, is it possible that she didn't understand the instructions? And the witnesses were going, no, because everybody's on their phones. They're like, no, because her attitude was so bad. You knew she understood. She just didn't want to go along with it. Wow. And she got mad because they were trying to get her to verbalize her answer, because that's required by law. It's not the attendant's job. The attendant did not make up the law that you had to get a verbal answer. If you don't want to sit in the exit row, don't sit in the exit row. Do you find yourself like wincing whenever you get on a plane anymore because you don't know what you're going to find? I feel like this is peak America sometimes. Not peak America, but peak human culture, peak human nature. Selfish, bratty people who only care about themselves and getting theirs. That's what it feels like. If I'm in an exit row, I don't have a problem, because I also know that I'm going to definitely be getting off a bad flight if something happens and I'm in the exit row, because I get to control that door. That's a power seat. Why would you not want to be in a power seat? Good heavens. I don't know. Steve, do you I don't know. I don't get anxiety, but I find myself not looking forward to boarding a plane ever, because I never know what I'm going to get.
A thing that gets me is, why would you want to be in Group A? Group A, you have to get on first, and you have to sit down the entire time. Like, why don't I always am the last person to board? Why I don't? That's
Are you
I don't
really?
get why people want.
Are you worried about overhead space?
No, I just would rather not be in a tube for as long as I have to be.
True.
Why don't you just wait in the terminal or wait at the gate and just eat food?
I like to just go to sleep though. So I'll get on the plane and then I will literally go to sleep. I will go to sleep until they make sure that your seatbelt's buckled up, because I got to shut down. I don't want to. It's because it's always so awkward, but I just want to get in, but also it's the overhead space. Although I never bring a ton of stuff with me. I always have like a carry-on and then a little thing that I shove under my seat. But then you get like suit jacket dudes or ladies with the straw hats that want to like shove their stuff in the overhead bin, and then nobody can get their suitcases or anything else up there. And I'm like, ugh, I don't know. I get what you're saying.
That's the one flaw that I didn't think about, is if you wait to get on last, they sometimes, most of the time, run out of carry-on space. They have to put one of those fake tags on it and sit it by the door. That's happened to me the last few times, but I'd rather just wait.
Yeah, after I had a suitcase that was utterly destroyed by their little system where they bring the suitcases up, because I had a gate check once, and it literally crushed my suitcase and broke some stuff inside and all of that. It like crushed it. It was like a pancake. It was wild. And so now I don't do that anymore. But thankfully I was on a flight and I was arriving home, so I didn't need any of the stuff in there really. But yeah, so I make sure that I don't know. But I agree with you. I hate getting on and having to be on the tube, because then you get people like that.